Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel to Mole Thoughts. My name is Chaos Mole and today we are talking about Vampire the Masquerade 2 Bloodlines, or well, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, that is more the right one. And there has been a lot of developments in the last few hours which seem to paint a very, very dark picture over this very dark RPG, which was actually planned to come out this year, but thank God postponed. What happened? Well, just a few hours ago, the official Twitter account of Vampire the Masquerade, and with that I assume Hardsuit Labs, or at least Paradox, announced that they have laid off two of the key figures who have been working on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, and I will just call it Bloodlines 2 from now on so you know exactly what I mean. And one of them was Brian Mitsoda, who was the lead writer on this game, and he was also the lead writer of the very first Vampire game. But not only that, he was one of the main figures they have always showed when they, well, dragged this poor man in front of a camera. There was the guy with the white hair and with the glove, and people were always like, oh, he's wearing gloves. Oh, interesting character. Like that was the person. And what you're seeing here, by the way, in the background is one of the older demos they showed of Bloodlines 2, which was also shown off by one of the other people they fired today, and that was Cluney. He got also fired today, and yes, literally fired. And if you're asking why, how, what happened? Well, the answer is pretty much we don't know. It's very weird. But before we jump into that, let's start at the beginning. What happened? Well, Vampire the Masquerade 2 was announced by Hardsuit Labs and Paradox around 2019, and they were also announcing that the game would come out in 2019 or by the end of 2019. I have to admit, when they first announced that Hardsuit Labs is actually doing the development, I wasn't really happy about this, because Hardsuit Labs so far has only developed one game, and that was a mediocre shooter at best, and I think that game is dead. I think they shut down the servers a long time ago, so it's a bit tough to tell, really. But yeah, they were apparently working at the game, and well, the first trailers looked a little bit rough, and then they showed off this gameplay demo, and it also looks very rough. Like, the performance is definitely not there. The animations look a little bit so-so. But then again, it's Vampire the Masquerade, and I don't really mind that if the gameplay was right. But however, the game came, of course, not out in 2019 as everyone has expected, and the game got postponed into May 2020. And I will be honest here with you, I didn't saw that happening. Like, from what we have seen in those demos and other trailers, the game was not ready. Not at all. So when the release date was slowly coming around, they announced, as expected, another delay. And this time they didn't want to give us a date, and they just delayed it into the end of 2020. Like, they didn't really tell us exactly when the game was coming out, but it was more like, yeah, end of 2020. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That was something I was totally on board with. And then about a month ago, they announced another delay, and this time somewhere into 2021. We don't know exactly when in 2021. Yeah, they're saying like, yeah, first quarter of 2021. But I will be honest here, I don't see that happening. And this was the first time where I actually asked myself if this is going well. Because yes, we see delays in game development. Always have been. And I am a complete supporter of delays. But we normally don't see delays of that size. Like, even Cyberpunk, which got now delayed twice, was only delayed in total by 7 months. And that is not too crazy in the world of game development. Like, 7 months delays are normal. Like, they're not as crazy as some people might think. And it makes totally sense. Like, Cyberpunk is active on Twitter. They are showing off trailers. They are showing off gameplay every month. They are talking to the community. Like, they are super into the finishing stretch of this game. Like, they are getting close to finishing up Cyberpunk, and you can see that on social media. You can see that in the trailers. Like, everything looks like, okay, they are close to the finishing line and just want to make it perfect. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, that is not the case. We have seen 2 or 3 trailers in total. We have seen this tour, this demo you are seeing right now, you're running in the background, and that was it. They were mostly dead silent about where they are exactly in development, what is going on, and so on and so forth. Like, so far, this development was more like a secret mission than anything else. And again, normally I would say, yeah, that's a little bit unusual nowadays, but it's Paradox in the end, and I believe in them. Not always, they do their mistakes, but they are still one of the publishers where I am feeling a little bit safer, so to speak. Well, today was the announcement that Brian Mitsoda and Kai Cluney are fired. They got laid off. So they didn't leave the project. They got laid off. And that is really weird because, especially as I said, Brian Mitsoda was one of the main figures and main people they always showed off when the camera was around. And you are not necessarily firing your producer and the main writer. So we sometimes have it in certain projects that somebody's leaving that project. Happened with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk 2077 had actually, I think, 1 or 2 key figures leaving the company last year or the year before that. And that was already like, that is not good. Still, you can recover from that, but it's never great. But when you were firing those people, that means you were really unhappy. It's not that the person left, but the company was unhappy with them. And this is also very interesting because Brian Mitsoda actually released an official statement where he is saying he doesn't really know why. Like, they have never mentioned any issues with him, where he is going, how fast he's working. Like, he made it clear, at least from his perspective. We don't know how that is the perspective of the company, but from his perspective, he says he doesn't understand it. He worked on that company for 5 years, and then last month he got told, "Well, dude, can we talk to you for a minute?" Yeah, what's up? Well, you're fired. Wait, what? Yeah, you are fired next month. Uh, what? What? So that was apparently his reaction. And the same happened apparently to the director, which is Kai Cluney. And it's like, what is going on? And that, of course, begs the question, what is going on with the project? Like, losing your main writer plus your main director about 9 months where you want to ship the game, but also where a lot of people have questions about this game. I am not sure if we are seeing Vampire the Masquerade till the end of 2021. Like, it seems like they have done some bigger shifts inside the company, and I think this is Paradox putting the foot down. That they are not happy with what they see. Keep in mind, Paradox is owning the World of Darkness IP, and with that, they are owning all the werewolf, vampire IP stuff. So everything which is World of Darkness related. And it really seems like this is a typical power play of a publisher who is just putting the foot down and who's like, okay, sorry, we are really not happy what you have shown so far. And, well, I do understand that. Like, again, if this demo is anything to go by, yes, even though this demo is now a little bit older, but they haven't showed us anything new, it's a rough game. Like the animations are rough. Like even the last trailer they showed us, which was like the Christmas trailer. So that was nearly a year ago. Can you believe that? They showed that trailer nearly a year ago. And even that trailer looked rough. And they don't talk about the graphic. Like the graphic in itself is fine. They even use ray tracing, so I'm okay with that. But they still haven't really shown us like a lot of gameplay, something special and interesting, and everything feels like, well, decent at best, but not really crazy. And I wonder if this is like one of the decisions where Paradox is just like, okay, stop. Like, we have to do something here. This is not going forward. We are not making like any steps forward with the direction of this game, and we have to change that up. And again, that is a very bold move in the middle of development. And again, throwing those key figures out, that they have to think about one thing here. If they are screwing it up, regardless, and this game is coming out and it's not as great as people hope it to be, people will roast Paradox. Because what people would do, no matter if it is related or not, but what people would do is they would blame Paradox and the decision to kick out the two people from the team, and they will make them responsible for that. Even though it's not related, they will. I mean, that's how people act. So Paradox must be absolutely sure that what they are doing is the right thing to do, and it will actually save the project and will make it better. I hope it does, because as I said, till now, as much as I loved the first one with all the issues, like a lot of what I've seen here reminded me of the first one, and not necessarily always in a good way. And I just hope that was the right decision. But I have a lot of questions, and I hope that Paradox will give us more than just the usual PR answer they have given us on Twitter. With that said, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more analyzes and more gaming news, you should definitely check me out on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/chaosmole. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.